Audrey Hepburn is the epitome of femininity, subtlety, and a natural elegance. Unlike the bold and dramatic walk of Marilyn Monroe, which we have already analyzed on this channel, I will link the video down below, her walking style is very different. It is softer, more understated, and incredibly timeless. If you ever wanted to know how she is able to channel this effortless grace, stay with me, because in this video we will analyze and explain her particular walking style, which strongly resembles my definition of the feminine and natural walking style archetype, one of the 4 walking style archetypes that I have defined in another video. I will link all of that down below. And this way you will understand what makes her particular walk so special. Because of course, Audrey Hepburn has a very particular, beautiful and charming allure. She has this kind of childlike innocence, but also a very feminine way of being, of moving. And there are 2 elements in her walk that we will also find out in the course of this video that are crucial for her walking style. Let's start with the first part of this video. The Audrey Hepburn style versus the femme fatale walking style. Femme fatale walking style is the 4th walking style archetype that I have defined in the former video which I have mentioned. And it is basically the walking style of Marilyn Monroe, another icon of femininity. That's why, in order to understand and explain Audrey Hepburn's walking style, which is very different, it is the best and easiest to compare and contrast it with the femme fatale walking style of Marilyn Monroe. And also it's more fun. So we will take a look at some walking scenes and scenes from movies in which both icons of femininity are moving, and we will see what the differences are. So let's look at Marilyn Monroe's walking style first. The femme fatale walking style of Marilyn Monroe is sultry, seductive, but undeniably it has something theatrical. And this is of course also the risk when applying the femme fatale walking style. Some women have it naturally, but most women are rather using it in specific situations, that people might react to it in a negative way or might perceive it as too exaggerated, too fake or theatrical. But of course it doesn't have to be like that. It all depends on the situation, on your outfit, on the type of woman you are, if this style is or looks more natural on you or not. Well, on Marilyn it looked, of course, quite natural, as if she was born with it, but of course she wasn't. She practiced a lot, but she used very bold strides, this seductive way of moving and walking, a very large hip sway, an exaggerated hip sway, vertically and horizontally, and of course it was or is a very captivating walking style. Now in contrast, let's look at Audrey Hepburn's walking style. It is much more natural because she doesn't exaggerate her hips that much. It also fits her better because she has a little bit more of a, I don't want to say boyish, but it is like a more gamine figure. So she doesn't have this exaggerated curves. That's why her hips are also not that pronounced when she's walking. But still, her walk is very feminine and natural. Her movements are soft and subtle, rather small and very graceful. They are very much reflecting her quiet confidence and her elegance. So I came across many videos of her in movies and outside of the movies that clearly explain why she has this graceful swan-like walk. And that's because she was a dancer. So we have scenes in which she dances ballet very beautifully with a lot of grace, and of course she has this posture of a dancer. And then there are also scenes in which she dances with men. There are many scenes. There is one particular in which you really see the steps. And I can, as I am a former dance teacher and a dancer myself, that you notice in the walk of a woman if she is experienced in dance, and especially with regard to the extent of grace, of gracefulness or graceful movement. Because many women who maybe like to move, who like to be sensual in dance, but are not professional dancers, are able to pull off the femme fatale walking style very easily because they know how to move their hips. But this swan-like grace, you can only have it, or in most cases, when you have some kind of professional or more professional dance experience, whether it is ballet or a ballroom dance, for example. That's just something different, and I can really recognize that. Now, of course, it also helps if you are in general a very graceful looking person like Audrey is. But let's come to that later. Let's first take a look at the benefits of this kind of walking style in contrast to the femme fatale walking style. Of course, the benefits of Audrey Hepburn's graceful, feminine, natural walking style are: first, timeless elegance. Audrey's understated approach to walking and moving also means that she or her style will never get out of fashion. It is universally admired in all kinds of cultures, and what is also important, it is universally appropriate in all kinds of settings. Benefit number 2, natural femininity. Those gentle movements exude a sense of femininity, authenticity and warmth, making her very approachable and relatable, which is a very positive attitude to have. Benefit number 3, practical grace. Audrey's walk is easier to adopt and sustain daily if you are learning to walk more elegantly, as it feels very natural and it isn't exaggerated and doesn't require exaggerated movements. It requires some things, but I will explain that later. They are not that demanding as in the femme fatale walking style, for example. Benefit number 4, confidence in subtlety. Her style also proves that you don't need to demand attention with bold or exaggerated movements. Quiet elegance can be just as captivating if you combine it with specific other elements. So here is how you can channel Audrey's feminine and natural walking style. Tip number 1, start with confidence. So Audrey's walk is not about power or seduction, but it is about self-assured grace, and we see that in her movies. Walk with a sense of calm and ease, as if you have all the time in the world. Think of the scene from Breakfast at Tiffany's, the intro scene, where she gets off the cab and then she walks with a sense of calmness and ease in this beautiful dress that is very long and a little bit tight. That's why she's doing small steps, but she's doing small steps anyway in general. And this is the kind of confidence that you need to exude for that walk. But also keep your demeanor relatable and approachable. But that has also to do with the lack of exaggeration. So if you keep it calm and quiet, it will always be relaxed. Tip number 2, take small and controlled steps. So here again, take small steps like she is doing in general, no matter if you are wearing a dress that doesn't allow bigger steps or a dress that would allow it. Still tend to take smaller steps. That means to not only avoid the very long strides that we know from models on the catwalk, but also the exaggerated hip movements. You can of course move your hips naturally, and if you are a woman, your anatomy will automatically lead to a hip sway. That means you will sway your hips in a horizontal way. This is called the hip swivel that only women have naturally, because it is due to our pelvis, and I have explained it in more detail in one of my former videos about the feminine and masculine walking style. It will be all linked down below if you're interested. Also take steps that feel natural and controlled, and I will show you with my example how I would perform that, what I mean with controlled steps, because sometimes it might be difficult to understand, but actually it is about walking on a straight line and keeping a rhythm. Also it means using your feet the right way. So basically you roll from heels to toes. This is also a technique for controlling your steps, because some women do differently. But there is also one particular thing that we can see in the following video of Audrey walking on a catwalk. In this scene, Audrey is presenting a dress and she walks extremely slowly because of the situation. But look how she sets her feet. She makes very small steps and her feet show a little bit to the outside, but she's still walking on a line. Tip number 3. Balance feminine and natural. Also, something particular about Audrey's walking style is that it feels more instinctive rather than practiced or dramatic. So in order to also make your walk look more instinctive, let your hips move gently with each step. So in a natural way, just as if they would move naturally without pushing them too much, and keep the motion subtle. And also avoid the exaggerated wiggle that I have mentioned before that is natural for us women. So the wiggle is basically the horizontal movement. So we have this one, which is the vertical movement that we can also influence a lot with how much we relax our hips. But then the other one, the wiggle, that comes through our anatomy, and we can also control that one and exaggerate it. And this one is also strongly associated with the femme fatale walking styles. I will show you one example here. In this famous scene from Some Like It Hot, you see how Marilyn swiggles her hips, and here in another scene you also clearly see the horizontal movement, which is called the hip swiggle. Tip number 4. Perfect your posture. This one is very, very important, and it is, I think, the crucial element for the walking style of Audrey, because as I said, she was a ballet dancer, she was a dancer in general. She always maintained a very nice, upright, elegant posture. And good posture is key to looking elegant without trying hard. So always keep your head straight and your shoulders should be rolled back and down and your head elevated, simply straight line going through your body. Just imagine the transparent string that is pulling your head up. And point number 5, or tip number 5, master the art of subtle movements. Audrey's walk is about minimalism, and she also moves subtly in other situations. Let your arms swing softly, avoiding rigid or overly dramatic gestures. Because this is a mistake that many women do, that when they walk, they are maybe exaggerating their arm movements too much, or they are not moving their arms and they appear stiff and walk like this. So, what is the natural feminine walking style? You move and your arms move very naturally with you. So there is no overthinking, they just move naturally. And this is basically what will make your walk more subtle also and more natural. Focus also on fluidity of each step so that you have those transitions, so that it really looks fluid, like a dancer floating on the dance floor. And this floating element is also what we see when we look at Audrey. No matter if she is going down a ladder, I will show you now a scene of that. Look how elegantly she's climbing down this ladder. Her movements are very slow, soft and cautious, and in the end she's adjusting her dress in this very elegant way. And then also when she is walking down some stairs, she always has this very transitional, subtle and floating element in her movement. It is never kind of abrupt or rigid, and this is because she has this fluidity and this subtlety so much in her movements already that it just appears very, very natural and soft. Tip number 6, radiate natural elegance. The magic of Audrey's walk is that it reflects her inner grace, and our movement and body language is always also a reflection of our inner attitude. But we can of course support this attitude or this charisma with other body language things or signs, and here I would recommend you to simply smile in a soft way when you walk, or you keep a serene expression. This is what Audrey often does. And also move as though you were at peace with yourself and your surroundings. Because the wrong facial expression with this walk will look really ridiculous. So imagine you have a very unpleasant or stressed facial expression, and then you have this relaxed and subtle walk. This will absolutely not match. So you always have to match the style of the walk with your inner attitude, and also it should actually reflect to the outside. So now that we have seen many scenes of Audrey's walk and analyzed it, why should we as women choose or get inspired by her walking style? Because we can of course choose how we move, and we can choose our walking style depending on the situation if we want to. The thing is that Audrey's walking style is not only very elegant and graceful, it is also kind of empowering in its own way, because it teaches us that beauty doesn't have to be loud, doesn't have to shout. It can whisper and be still captivating. That means the three big positive aspects that the feminine natural walking style or Audrey Hepburn's walking style has are approachability. Her walking style makes her seem inviting and approachable and not intimidating. Everyday elegance. It's a walking style that you can adapt anywhere and in any situation, either on the red carpet or just a walk in the park. And inner grace. So emulating this kind of walking style will help you to exude quiet confidence, which is more lasting and impactful than showiness. So ladies, the beauty of Audrey Hepburn's walk lies in its simplicity. How do you like her walk? Or do you prefer the femme fatale walking style of Marilyn Monroe? And what kind of walking style do you identify yourself more with? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to read from you. If you like videos about femininity, feminine movement, seduction and elegance, I would gladly invite you to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so that I see you again soon. Bye bye!